Welcome, champions. Analyzing the enemy's early lineup, I immediately spotted how incredibly squishy their draft parameters were, which made Hilda the absolute premier lock for this match. We are operating deep inside the gatekeeper corridors of Immortal rank, pushing for my 93rd star, and Hilda is a complete cheat code in this high elo environment. Mainstream players underestimate her, but she functions as a high-utility tank that outputs a terrifying amount of early-game physical damage. Locking her in gives me the perfect macro opportunity to launch a high-aggression early invade, completely shattering their jungle rotations from the very first frame of engagement. I initiated the early invade, but at this apex tier, the entire lobby is fully aware of exactly what an aggressive Hilda is capable of doing on the map. They were completely stacked and waiting for me in the bushes. While some low IQ roamers take foolish risks trying to force a high variance buff steal, I refuse to take that gamble here. Even if you manage to secure the buff, dying for it is an absolute macro net loss. I have analyzed countless games where making a high-risk sacrifice like that means absolutely nothing because your own hypercarry turns into a complete joker by the late game anyway. If you have experienced that exact same solo queue nightmare, hit the like button, smash that subscribe button right now, and comment your worst teammate experiences below. Our early game pacing felt incredibly rough, but we masterfully managed to control the map geometry and secure the first turtle objective. Even though I was outputting a massive amount of physical damage during the initial skirmishes, the enemy team continuously managed to escape by a thread, leaving our scoreboard sitting at a brutal 1-3 deficit. That was the precise tipping point where I realized that simply playing my standard game was not going to cut it in this lobby. To break through this containment wall and secure the star, I had to completely push past my limits, activate my absolute best grandmother mindset, and play with frame-perfect precision. Shortly after, a mechanical skirmish exploded into a flat 1-4-1 tree drone for Rome. I am honestly not entirely sure how to feel about that exchange. On paper, when you are trapped inside a losing match under a heavy scoreboard deficit, trading your life directly for the enemy roamer is technically a stabilizing play that burns their map tempo. But the reality is that I died here, for a solo queue purist looking to dictate every single wave rotation and frontline engagement angle entirely on individual macro authority. Being sent back to the fountain is a heavy constraint that takes the steering wheel completely out of your hands. The experience gap in this match was becoming an absolute gaping chasm. The enemy Benedetta was completely dominating the XP lane, ruthlessly shutting down our Yuzhong and generating a massive amount of snowball momentum across the side map geometry. If left unchecked, a high-mobility lane cutter like her will completely tear through your base defenses and choke out your jungle lanes. Thankfully, I stepped into the lane friction, timed her blink parameters perfectly, and cleanly shut her down, forcefully cutting off her gold scaling and giving our entire team an essential breath of fresh air. This next sequence was the absolute game-changing team fight of the entire match. Just as the skirmish ignited, I managed to find the perfect angle and shut down their Fed Benedetta once again right at the very start of the engagement. By instantly deleting their main side lane win condition from the map geometry, their entire team coordination completely collapsed. As a direct result, we ruthlessly wiped out the remaining enemy forces, suffering only a single loss on our end with our mage going down. With the map completely cleared of threats, the lane corridors are wide open for us to comfortably secure the Lord objective and execute a massive push to smash through their side towers. Thankfully, our marksmen finally stepped up and started outputting some actual, serious damage during these critical late-game team fights. If they hadn't unlocked their item spikes right then, the match would have devolved into an absolute disaster based on the brutal efficiency of the enemy's continuous ganking rotations. This perfectly exposes the single heaviest mechanical drawback of playing Hilda, the high-low late-game scaling tax. Once the match crosses the late-game threshold and the enemy carries build heavy defensive items, your raw assassination velocity falls flat. You can no longer easily dive and delete targets. Your macro role completely shifts into a frontline armor shredder, utilizing your skills to reduce their physical defense metrics so your marksmen can cleanly melt through their health bars. And that is exactly how we systematically wrapped up the game, locked down the map coordinates, and siphoned the MVP crown on pure individual merit. With my 93rd star officially secured and safely packed into the vault, the opening chapter of this historic Grandmother campaign is complete. In our next standalone masterclass, we are going to break down the exact macro mechanics and dynamic drafting loops that captured the 94th star in solo rank entirely on our own terms. Stay tuned for that layout, take care, and I will see you all very soon. Stay detached.